it around, because you'll just be able to use your phone. So Mashable and BMW actually cover a lot of this stuff, and we call it the Global Innovation Series. And we have examples every day about how devices are becoming smart, how cities are becoming smart, how the world is changing thanks to social and mobile and collective commerce. So I'm going to go through just a few of them. There are hundreds of these on our site, but here's some ideas to get you going. Here's one: crowdsourced problem solving. So one of the issues in cities is there's some graffiti, you want to report it, it's really annoying to you, but you feel kind of powerless because what can I do? The city's not going to listen. Well, this city, San Jose in California, they launched the mobile City Hall app. And what you can do with that is you can submit photos of things like graffiti, pollution, code violations. You can track whether anyone has responded to that. You can track whether the city saw your complaint, whether they did anything about it. And there's a 90% resolution rate when you submit an issue there. So you can imagine you walk around New York City, you maybe see some graffiti, or you see, someone's left some trash or whatever. Maybe it's in your backyard and you want to complain about it. Well, now with connected apps, with connected City Hall apps, you can actually do something about it and feel like you're making a difference. There's all kinds of apps like this for recycling, feel like you're part of something. Sometimes, when you do something about something, you feel like you're alone and that you actually need a critical mass of people. Well, with apps like this, you can actually make a difference. So here's another one, kind of similar idea. This one's called NoiseTube. It's an app that lets you report noise pollution. It has a little measuring thing, so you can prove that actually your area is way too noisy and someone should do something about it. The government gets alerted that there's noise pollution in your area. It'll create maps of noise pollution. It will identify areas where local councils should be paying attention to, hey, there's a problem here. And like I say, there's all kinds of apps like this, whether it's recycling, keeping your city clean, fighting graffiti and all that kind of stuff. So here's a social transportation app. This is all about the kind of the collective commerce model. Zimride actually lets you make money from your car because you go on Facebook, you say, hey, I drive into the city every day, maybe you come into New York every day, and you know what, you've got basically all the seats in your car empty. So this is a way to not only make cities run faster because people are car sharing, but actually you can make a little money off it too. It's facilitated more than 26,000 carpools, it's helped people travel more than 100 million miles, and it saved an estimated $50 million in vehicle operating expenses. So, there's so many inefficiencies in life, right? And if we just had the data that would tell us, hey, most people who are driving into New York City right now, one person in a car. Why not rideshare? You're probably driving into the city next to someone else who's coming from your exact neighborhood. If you shared, not only would you save money, but the traffic would flow a lot faster. And, the person who owns the car might actually make a little money. Here's another one. So this was the connected bus stop I was telling you about. Things are getting smart. This one is actually in South Korea, and it's by the supermarket chain Tesco. And what you can do is you can shop while you're waiting for the bus. It's also in train stations. So you're just standing there waiting for the bus. What are you going to do? Well, you can actually order your groceries. And there's lots of these, there's different things. Maybe it's groceries, maybe it's buying a product that's advertised at the bus stop using NFC or just putting your phone over it. You can scan items via QR code and you pay via your phone. So it's like I was saying, those new commerce models. Put your phone near something, you bought it, it'll show up at your house, and it's done. So more and more smart, connected objects. Really, this is about thinking about anything could be on the internet and how does that change everything. This is one more example from the Global Innovation Series. This is the Nest thermostat, but here's some of the stuff you can do. And a thermostat's a really boring thing, by the way, right? It's just like, you set it to a temperature, warms up, great. So how do you make that better? Well, you put it on the internet, and it can do all kinds of things based on different signals. So these smart thermostats can adjust the temperature based on your lifestyle and weather conditions. It was colder today, I wake up, I go adjust the thermostat. Well, the thermostat should have known that it was going to be cold because it could have looked at the weather report. So this thermostat actually does that. And this one is actually designed by one of the guys that designs Apple products, which is why it's also the coolest looking thermostat in the world. It can be controlled remotely via mobile app, so you can say, oh man, I forgot to turn the heat on. You just call up your thermostat. Just open up the app, just say, hey, forgot to turn the heat. and you're talking to your thermostat over your phone. And then you can leverage GPS to know and turn it off. Same thing as the connected lights, right? So you walk near your house, it says, oh, looks like Pete's coming home, better turn the heat on. So you can save a lot of energy, you know. Right now, my heat's on at home. Why bother? Well, this thing can actually figure out that I've left the house and turn it off, and that I'm about to come back and turn it back on, and that's way more efficient. And that's really what all this stuff's about, right? We have all these inefficiencies in life, we're missing all these opportunities because we don't have the data. And once all the devices are connected, life becomes a lot more efficient, we save some money, we save some energy and resources. So everyone's happy. So there's loads more examples at Mashable.com/global innovation. And we thank BMW for supporting that series. And to summarize, this is the future of mobile connectivity in cities. This is the future of how we live here in New York and how everyone lives in cities around the world. It's mobile, social, and connected, right? It's all about your mobile device, about apps, it's about being connected to other people and being able to share resources, and it's about all these devices being smart and connected. Clothing, cars, kitchens, they're all made smarter, you know? And there's thousands of things that no one has thought to connect up yet. And imagine if all those things were connected and they could respond to data and signals and be smarter too. Smart devices respond to voice, touch, movement, and location. So things like the thermostat, things like the app that detects where you are and turns on the lights. It's not about keyboards anymore. If you think that you're interacting with a computer with a keyboard and a mouse, that's a long time past. It's all about these new ways of interacting, and a lot of this stuff isn't explicit, right? It's almost implicit interaction. It just knows where you are. You don't need to tell your thermostat anything because it knows that you're about to come home and you're on the way. So a lot of these are actually implicit interactions as well. And then of course social commerce, which is about sharing scarce resources. If you have a car that has 3 seats empty, that's the kind of thing that social commerce is about. If you have a bike, why wouldn't you only ride your bike to work 1 day a week, what's it doing the other days of the week? Could you make some money there? Social commerce is all about saying, I have all this stuff, or maybe it's, to some extent, it's about saying, well, I don't want to have so much stuff. So you think about plans like Drive Now, or you think about things like Airbnb, or ownership can be kind of a lot of work. So the average, there's a great TED talk, the average drill, right, you know when you go buy a drill, it's used once, right? So you go to Home Depot or whatever, and you go buy a drill, and you put up a painting, and then you put that drill in the cupboard and you never use it again, right? So people are sitting in studio apartments in New York with all this stuff, and then you try and move, and I have a habit like moving every year, and you have all this stuff that is useless to you, that you used once, and then you never ever need it again until you put up another painting in your new place. So ownership is kind of a burden, and that's kind of what social commerce helps with, is the efficiency of, hey, I don't want to have to own a drill that I'm only going to use once. I don't want to have to own a bicycle if I'm only going to use it once a week. It's going to take up room, and in urban lifestyles, we don't actually have that much room, and increasingly, as more people live in cities, we're going to have less and less room. So, mobile, social, connected, objects made smarter by connectivity, smart devices that respond to these signals of voice, touch, movement, and location, and of course, social commerce, sharing your stuff, making that more efficient. And that's it for your intro, so thanks so much for having me, and hopefully you learned something.